I'm now going to give you a few tips on pronouncing Russian generally. Um, the main thing to say is that it's very, very difficult to sing in Russian unless you're used to speaking Russian, so don't try too hard. But there are three things that I would draw your attention to. The first is the consonants in Russian tend to be much bigger and boomier than they are in English. So the B and the V and the G and the D and the J. This word comes up several times, the word for the struggle. The struggle is barba. And if you can say barba, then that will sound quite Russian. If you say barba, it will sound rather English. So give your consonants a bit of woomph would be the first thing. The next thing concerns generally vowels. Anyone who's spoken to me about this before, which is basically my brother, will have heard me do this. For vowels, what I tend to suggest that people do is take a pencil and put it crossways in your mouth, which I'm now going to do. So it's across the opening of your mouth. You push it back a bit, and what that will do is force your tongue back in your mouth, which will help you to articulate the Russian sounds, the Russian vowel sounds, particularly where they should be. So the Russian vowel sounds are a, e, o, u, which a, e, o, u, entirely distinct from nice, prissy Southern English a, e, o, u, and e. Particularly, I would encourage you to try and avoid the English oo, that double O, which you'll see quite often in the transliteration in this piece. Do try not to say ruki, because it just sounds ridiculous. Try and say ru, or there's nebu, there's tyanulis, there's kulaki. All these oo sounds, tishinu. Try and say oo, big, fat, apy sort of sound, and not oo if you can avoid it. So that's the general thing about vowels. Pronounce them as far back down your throat as you can. And the final thing, the one that causes everyone confusion, is the letter O. Now, the rule is quite straightforward. If an O is emphasized in a word, it's pronounced O. If it's not, it's pronounced much more like an A. Now, the only thing I can suggest you do is listen to how I've done it, because that's right. But generally, so the first words of some parts are strashno было, and both of those words end in O. Strashno было. So pronounced as sounds. But when you say or Lenin, it's definitely or, because it's a separate word and you're emphasizing it. So it's or. But the other word that comes up an awful lot is the word October, which of course is what this piece is actually called, to October, and that is pronounced Октябрь. No, not October, but Октябрь. Октябрь, and then after it quite often comes the word это, spelled E-T-O, but pronounced это. And I think that's it really. The word for thank you in Russian also has an unstressed O at the end. It is spasiba. So I hope this has been of some use.